Everybody. Welcome to the Gamer's Side Quest, wherever you may be, however you may be listening. Thanks for making us a part of your day. I've got my stunningly beautiful co-host, as always, Rose
Mother.
and Hack Attack.
What am I not
How
beautiful?
are you guys doing today?
Leaning to the left a little bit. Yeah, like a little sad, you know, here and there.
Oh, I've never heard that phrase. That's a wild one.
Alrose is just silent.
Taking it in. It's been a fucky week, and we're already done with Monday. I think all of us are done with Monday and the week in general.
He's like the pandas on WoW. Like monks.
Oh.
What?
Stoic.
Because you're silent.
What?
You're like sitting in the dark, got your hoodie on. You're like not talking.
Well, the pandas in WoW are anything but silent.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't play WoW.
Talking right outside his ass.
Wow, rude. Childish.
True.
Well, I'm about the same. I'm about the same. It's been a long week.
So what'd you play last week, Ryan?
I played nothing really. I did Zooter stuff. I know we talked about it on last podcast how I was in the tournament. I had my other game on Tuesday or on Thursday, and I lost that round. But thankfully, the person I lost to went on to win the whole thing. So I'll take that. Losing to the champ is probably the best outcome you can get for something like that.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So I'm not upset. Yeah, I'm okay. But that's like all I did. I've been working on editing. I edited a video for my qualifiers, and that was pretty fun. That was a fun video to edit. I'm finishing up my mini game list, which I've said on Twitter and other places. It's a month plus in the making. I need to streamline those processes more, but I've put a lot of love and care into this video. So I'm in the grind, which is rough, but we take it as we can get it.
Yeah. Can you move your mic a little closer? You're popping.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's far. That's the wrong direction.
No, that's fine.
Just letting you know you're popping.
I usually do. I don't know what's up. Oh, you know what might be it? Here, we'll do a quick little fixie fix really quick.
Little fixie
'Cause I
fix.
know I haven't done
While he
this.
fixes it, Eric, what did you do this week?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Too
Did you
much
play
work.
Resident Evil?
No. Why would I?
I thought you. Didn't a new
Resident Evil
Resident Evil
comes
come out?
No, that comes out on the 8th.
Oh, it's the 8th. I thought it had already happened.
No, we're not playing that till like the 16th.
Yeah,
Oh, you
we
guys
have
are
to
gonna do
wait
it
a
as a
week
group?
because
Yeah.
we're doing it as a group, and I thought I was gonna get the bailout that Eric was also having things, but it's Mother's Day weekend, and my mother would appreciate if we helped her clear out the basement.
Bro,
as
bring
a,
your mom to play
Mother's
Resident
Day
Evil.
gift.
His mom's already in the game.
Oh!
Sheesh.
What role does she play?
Wait, that's not his mom. That's his mommy.
Oh.
Yes, mommy.
Have you seen?
help you
Have you
clean
seen
out the basement.
big? Have you seen the big bad vampire lady? Hack.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sheesh. Yeah, as somebody who's like plugged into a lot of.
Don't
new
you work
stuff,
with like a bunch of
I'm
19-year-olds?
surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. They're actually 20, but I mean, 19, 20, it's all the same. I just ruined half our
Still
audience.
can't get Alki.
One person. Gosh, my nose is so itchy.
Yeah, everybody's taken the spring bad. I feel it. I don't really have allergies, but I get from when it storms, when it like rains. I usually get a headache coming from there. That's about the closest thing I've got to allergies.
from the head injury.
No, just because I'm a bitch.
No, I was thinking because like how like some people like knees like swell in the rainstorms, like your head swells.
I don't know what it is. It's something sinus related, but yeah.
You gotta be careful if your smooth brain swells too much, you have to go to the hospital.
Yeah, because there's too much friction with it being so smooth. There's not a lot of, the surface area is like
Exactly.
get on
you
your
need,
skull.
You need the ridges.
It's too much. I agree. I agree.
The more squiggles, probably the better. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
The more lumps.
That's actually the medical term is squiggles.
The squiggles.
You
got
guys really need to get off Parlor.
What's Parlor?
Dude.
Social
that's
media
some
that you're on, apparently.
I don't even know what that is. What's Parlor? Is that like an alt-right or alt-left website?
It's one or the other.
It's one or the other.
Yeah. Oh, so it's like QAnon.
Basically.
I'm hip. I'm cool.
That's cool.
No, you're not.
But let's shift our focus back to some gaming.
You're over 30. It's fine. You learn to accept it by 31.
Rude.
But if we get into our topics for today, we've got a good one to start out. And this should be a good icebreaker for us today. In your guys' opinions, what is the most defining console to have been made? So not your favorite, but like which one has been impactful to the gaming industry?
I have an
I
answer.
think for lack of it. Wait. Eric, would you like to go first?
No, he has an answer. I'm going to let him go
All
first.
right. He's got
I have
an answer.
I have an answer. Are you
Okay.
ready for it?
No.
It's the PC. No? No one? No one at all?
He ain't wrong.
No one thinks my joke's funny?
He ain't wrong.
Oh, were you talking like entertainment console, like that sits in your entertainment center?
Oh.
No?
Well, everybody in PC Master Race will never be back on this channel
Yeah.
because you just call the PC a console.
You know, I'm terrible. No, I'd actually.
Which is fine because all two people who are watching
are in this room with us right now talking.
yeah.
No, actually, in real talk, what I actually think it is probably the PS2.
Yeah.
Like, even as an Xbox purist, can't ignore the fact that the PlayStation 2 had more good games than the original Xbox.
Didn't it also stay around for like ever?
Yeah.
Over 13 years.
Yeah.
Like,
I
it
know.
was just,
It's the only console that effectively killed another console too.
yeah, Dreamcast.
Yeah, it effectively killed the Dreamcast. It effectively killed Sega as a company.
Yeah, like, there's no denying that the PlayStation 2 is the defining console for millions and millions of people. I mean, it defined an era.
Yeah. It was would you say it's the best console to come out of the of that generation because it's the GameCube and the regular Xbox, or was it 360
Yeah.
at that point too?
No, it was Xbox.
I
Yeah.
mean, the PlayStation 2 survived the Xbox and the 360.
Yeah, like there's no denying. Like I said, I'm an Xbox fanboy, and I can't ignore the fact that PlayStation 2 is a better console. It has more games. It has a lot of great exclusives. It's just an all around better system. There towards the end, remember how big the PS2 was on launch, Eric?
Like the physical size of it?
Yeah, it was a thick boy.
Yeah.
A thick boy. By the time it was done, that thing was down to like just enough for a disc to go into it.
I think I got the super slim like post the PS2 era, but yeah, I remember which one you're talking about. It was like that little thin one that was just literally like disc flap up and down.
That was it. There was no memory card. There was nothing. Just the console. Pretty cool. I also have another guess. I also have another one, but I'll let you guys go first.
It's the PlayStation 2. I mean, that was my answer.
Yeah.
Oh!
Well, elaborate then, Eric. Explain your rationale because I've got a good one.
It killed Sega. Like,
I agree
it
with
did.
that.
Going
I can do
into it, it was the Genesis, then the Saturn. I mean, you had the Game Gear on the side, and then the Dreamcast, which was supposed to keep Sega in the running. They dropped the Dreamcast, and I don't even think it was 6 months later the PlayStation 2 dropped, and the Dreamcast was dead. The Dreamcast, I think, lasted another year, maybe.
I think.
And I mean, like the PS2 dropped, and everybody, almost everybody, forgot about the 64.
64
And-
was good for what it did, but it wasn't like a mainstay like the PS2.
Yeah, and like the GameCube dropped, and I bought a GameCube, so like I like the console, but in terms of functionality, when the GameCube dropped and it didn't have a DVD drive in it, everybody was like, "Yeah, I think I'll just buy a PS2."
Because
Yeah, those
did the
mini discs
Xbox
were
also?
stupid.
Yeah, did Xbox also play like DVDs and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it just was behind every aspect.
and like every great single player RPG that came out in the mid 2000s was on the PS2,
Yep.
Yeah, the
and they're
only
all fucking expensive today because they're collector's items.
Yeah.
The only
Like-
thing Xbox had going for it during that generation was that more shooters and sports games released on Xbox at the time because they had like deals with certain companies to only release on them. Like, and I'm not saying like Madden, but like weird sports games, you know, like Blitz. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Blitz was on multiple consoles.
Was it? Was it? I'm just. I
Blitz was on the
remember-
64.
I remember as kids, like whenever we wanted to play a sports games, we played it on my Xbox for some reason. And I thought, I mean, I was only like fucking 10, so I don't remember well, but I remember there being something about we couldn't get the sports games on the PlayStation.
I mean, the Xbox had Halo and Gears. That's the big
It
two.
did have Gears. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
PlayStation 2 had God of War.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, compared to like Gears, Killzone was on the PlayStation.
But Gears was a Xbox 360 game.
Was there not one on the original Xbox?
It was a 360
So then they
game.
literally had just Halo.
It was like Halo.
I mean, but
They
to
had-
be fair, the PS2 like outlasted the beginning of the 360.
Yeah, because like the Xbox had Halo and it had like Panzer Dragon. It had, let me just look it up.
Yeah. But I can elaborate on my idea of what's the most defining. And I think you guys are right. PS2 was definitely one of those consoles that definitely tipped the scales and like boosted it up. But the one that I think is really big is the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, because without that, gaming was dying.
Well,
A lot
gaming
of
was
your
already dead
early-
before it.
Right. That's what I'm saying is a lot of gaming just didn't happen. A lot of the games that were produced were really bad. And because of that, you know, it was very risky to go out and make a gaming console. Nintendo comes out with some bangers in Mario, your Legend of Zelda, bunch of stuff like that where it's like, okay, well now like people are like very interested in gaming, and from there everything just kind of explodes. So I think the NES definitely had a hand in making gaming something that was more readily available and popular. So without that, like clearly we don't have what we have today. But I do think you guys have made a very great case that the PS2 also just like in terms of like taking what was like established and just like pushing that bar up is insane.
Yeah, I mean, Atari got caught disposing of games in Mexico in 1983,
Yeah,
and that killed the gaming industry until the NES came out.
right. And that's where I think it is. It's a very good console. Played a couple games on there, but that was way before my time. Because I'm young buck.
I actually don't think that's Nintendo's defining console.
Yeah,
No.
I had a different vote.
I was
Which
gonna
one do
say
you
the-
think
I was
that
gonna say
is?
the Game Boy.
I was gonna say the Game Boy
shit.
too.
Game Boy's another good one, yeah.
I mean,
I
the
mean,
only
it
competition
would-
that Game Boy had was the Game Gear, and it beat out the Game Gear handily.
Would you not say the PSP was also something
No.
that like
never
they
took
didn't
off.
like compete with it? Yeah, but it was something that like that's the only other portable gaming system that like I know people had.
I had a
Obviously, Game
PSP,
Gear,
but
but I
like
mean-
it just
Yeah,
Sony was too ambitious with it. Is the problem?
Right.
Like they wanted to do all this weird remote play stuff back in the PS2 era, and instead they should have just focused on creating games. The discs themselves, like Nintendo already had a really good blueprint. All you had to do was copy that.
Yeah. Mm. Whew. Well, I think that's pretty good. I think.
Oh, 1 second. I
Oh,
found some
you
interesting.
figure it
things
out?
about Xbox. Yep. So actually, there was more exclusives than that I remembered. First one was these are the 15 top ones. Is Ultimate Fighter Championship Tap Out, say the first MMA game. And then that one's stupid. Conkers was an Xbox exclusive. Project Gotham Racing. Steel
Conker's
Battalion.
Reloaded.
Yeah, Conker's Reloaded.
Well, Reloaded
Live
I think
and-
was
Live
supposed to
and
be
Reloaded.
Yeah, I think that was supposed to be a remake of Bad Fur Day, but that was on N64 first.
Steel Battalion was an Xbox, and we're talking about original Xbox, not like the whole thing. Now this one, number 9, is just an obvious Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, like
I mean,
defining
Booba.
game.
I mean, which of those sold though?
Yeah, no, I'm only in the
That's-
top 10. Let's see. And then Oddworld number 6, Ninja, the original Ninja Gaiden was an Xbox exclusive. Elder Scrolls
Yeah.
3 Morrowind was originally an Xbox exclusive.
Morrowind's pretty big.
Yep. Fable.
Yeah.
And then Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was an Xbox exclusive.
That was also on the PC.
Yeah, but I'm saying consoles. It was an Xbox.
Yeah, I mean,
exclusive.
like when you're talking about exclusive, I mean exclusive to the Xbox when it was
well,
released.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing about. I mean, Microsoft has always, some of their games have always ported over, but I mean, Morrowind was also
Yeah.
available on PC.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. I agree. Like, I'm not. I'm not
I
defending
mean,
it.
it was.
I still
it
think
was
PlayStation is
Halo
better.
and Fable.
Yeah.
I forgot
And
about
if-
Fable. To be fair, Fable
And
was
if you
Same,
want
I
its
forgot
time.
about it.
When
Fable,
Fable
2,
came out, it
I
was really
liked
cool.
a lot.
I forgot about Oddworld, but I didn't play that game, so I didn't care.
Yeah. Well, sheesh. Yeah,
Sheesh.
pretty good discussion there. But I think our next one we wanted to talk about, we've dabbled in it a little bit before, talking about pricing of these, but we're actually going to talk about what we personally prefer between them, between your remakes or your remasters. We've talked about a few times with stuff like Resident Evil, that series getting more traditional remakes where it's completely redefining the engine and implementing that into an old story. But we've also got some of our remasters where we've got stuff like Mario 3D World, or a lot of it's Nintendo in my opinion from what I see, but your Mario 3D World, your Mario Kart Deluxe, etc., etc. But talking with you guys, what do you guys think your opinion is on what you enjoy more when it comes to that debate between remasters and remakes?
I think people need to know the difference between the two. Like, there's a lot of people out there that expect remasters to be remakes, and that's not the case. Like, it's like you said, like Resident Evils are remakes. They're completely different games from the ground up. Whereas like Halo 2 is a remaster because the bare bones are there. Everything's the same as it was in the original. It's just graphically and sound were both updated. Maybe a little bit of the combat was also updated. I think there are like when you're talking about remasters, the core game mechanics are going to be the same as the original. So stuff like long intensive side questing, which was popular in the 2000s. If you're going to play one of those remasters today, you're going to spend a lot of time doing side quests.
Wow.
Yep.
What?
WoW. I was giving you an example, like the WoW remake. Didn't they re-release the original?
Yeah, and it's the same across the board. And there are people who were playing Legion. They go back to the original and they're like, "This game is so grinding." It's like, yeah, it was back in 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why people spent literally days on quests.
Yeah.
Like, the South Park episode is kind of accurate in a lot of ways. It takes a little extreme. It's a little extreme in some ways, but literally people would devote months to do one thing.
And
But
Oh, go ahead.
I think I agree with you in the matter of like people have to, one, have their expectations known and subsequently temper expectations. Because I know one thing that I've seen people get very uppity about, recent one, is the new Pokemon Diamond and Pearl games that are getting remade and released on the Nintendo Switch. And a lot of people are looking at that and are like, well, this, it looks shitty. It looks like, they take a Game Boy game and put it on the Switch. And it's like, yeah, that's the point, is that they're taking that game, updating the graphics, putting it on the Switch. But like, it's basically going to be Diamond and Pearl if you were playing it on that. Whereas the one that we've talked about and we're really excited about, the Pokemon Legends, is actually kind of like a remake to that kind of storyline. So like there's two different things that you have to battle with, and people are upset that the one thing that they wanted is being remastered, while the other one is kind of remakey territory.
Well, and it depends on how much effort is put into a remaster for the price. Like, if all you're doing is a graphical update, Resident Evil 1 is the biggest one. It came out on the PlayStation, then it was remastered on the GameCube, then it was redone, I think, on the PlayStation 3, then upscaled again on the PlayStation 4. And each time it was, for the GameCube was a different enough game. It was. Like, if you look at the graphics from the original and then you look at them on the GameCube, they redid almost everything from scratch. So that $50 to $60 price tag was justified. After that, they didn't sell it for $60, they sold it for $30. And that's because they primarily just upscaled it. But then you have other games like Halo 2 where they redid all of the music, they redid all of the sound, they reshot the cinematics, they overhauled all of the graphics. That's a $60 game.
Right.
And it was part of a collection.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's kind of like, again, your expectations have to be some way. When you know that like an effort is being put in where they're doing X, Y, and Z, you feel justified in your purchase of something that is full game price because they've put like full game effort into it. But when you get something that's like re-release $60, Capcom is pretty what's the word I want to use? They do it a lot where they'll release a game on a different console and like $60 slap it. I know I see it a lot on the Nintendo games that they release, that they're just like $60. Nintendo themselves does the same thing where you get like a Mario Kart.
Everything on the Switch does that, yeah.
The Switch is very
that's a Switch thing.
Yeah.
Witcher 3 came out for the Switch. It's a $60 game and it's like $40.
Exactly. Skyrim.
But like that has to be like that's the price tag we're playing for the Switch.
Mario Kart.
That's what I said. Mario Kart Deluxe is literally Mario Kart 8 with the DLC attached into it. Which I think the DLC was like $5 each, so like it was a $70 game. They released it all together for $60. It's like shit. But like, Nintendo can do whatever the fuck they want because people are gonna buy it anyway. Mario Kart is still the best-selling game if you look at any of the NPD charts.
We have a question in the chat, by the way.
Okay, what do we got?
How do you guys feel about the show Invincible?
I think my little brother was telling me about it. It's that superhero show that I think is on Amazon Prime Video. I've not had a chance to watch it, but my brother was telling me about it. He really likes it, and when I find time, I may take a peek at it because I think it's not like the dump and pump of a lot of other shows like on the Netflix where they're like, here's this series and you have every episode you can binge. They're kind of doing it weekly, I think.
Not like Heroes. Remember the show Heroes? Is it? I'm gonna look it up. Huh? Let's see. Invincible.
Yeah.
So Wildcat Brothers watched it. He's gonna look into it. I've never heard of it. But
you've never even heard of it?
No.
Got J.K. Simmons in it.
Yeah.
It is. Mark Grayson is a normal teenager, except for the fact that his father, Nolan, is the most powerful superhero on the planet. Shortly after his 7th birthday, Mark begins to develop powers of his own and enters into his own father's tutelage. Looks like it's
So-
kind of not anime, but got an animated style.
It's kind of like the you know the old school animated type of thing where it's
Yeah, it looks
not
interesting.
like yeah, it's not bad. It is Prime Video, so like if you have Amazon Prime, that's how you can watch it. So
Yeah,
Not
I'd say
bad,
the
though.
animation's a lot like a brighter, more like a '90s, like an X-Men or a
thank you. That's what I was looking for, like the
Yeah.
'90s type of superhero movie.
yeah, like the Batmans and the X-Men's and the Spider-Mans from the '90s. It's got that kind of feel
Yeah,
to it. It
the
looks like-
Spider-Man's the one that comes to my mind, where it's kind of like the bright colors, kind of comical type
Mhm.
of thing. It looks like it'd be that. So
Cool. I'll have to check it out.
yeah,
I think remakes are they can be good certain times. Someone else in chat pointed out a good one. You don't see shooters remade very often, like the original Medal of Honors or the original Call of Duties.
I was gonna say I don't remember any of them being remade. I know they tried to make a correlation between like the Call of Duty World at War, I think, and then one of the other ones that they released. They were like, oh, it's kind of like a similar time frame type of thing, but like
Yeah.
not really.
And I mean, I think, and to contrary or to go against my own point is, I think the reason they do that is because Call of Duty and most shooter games run on the idea that you need to buy a new game every year to 2 years.
Yep.
It's the same reason why Ubisoft's never remade Assassin's Creed 1 or 2.
I know they released them in a
and,
pack.
I mean,
but
the fact that shooters get remade. I mean, shooters aren't made for their campaigns.
yeah.
No. I mean, that's
I
probably why
mean-
Halo actually got one, is because it had a good campaign.
Yeah, and like I could see Modern Warfare 1 and 2 being remade. I could see a trilogy including 3, but I mean that's about it. Like the Medal of Honors did have a decent campaign when they came out.
And I mean, they did re-release Modern Warfare. You can buy like a updated HD version of it on Steam, but it's not like a full-on remake, if that makes sense, or like
Yeah.
it's like it's upscaled and everything, but it's not.
Right, it's more of that remaster where they bring up the graphics
Yeah.
and stuff and all that thing, but it's not like they went in and did we're completely shooting other scenes, we're doing X, Y, and Z. You can tell that we put an effort into it. They're just like, hey, I know you guys like this. We're gonna
Yeah, and I
bump up the
think it came-
graphics and put it out.
I think it came for free with Modern Warfare.
Does EA own Medal of Honor?
They do.
That's probably why.
Yeah, EA doesn't make anything. They don't remake any game. I mean, I'm
Listen,
honestly,
guys, we
honestly, at this
are an EA. We're an EA friendly podcast. We really like
we're
EA.
not. We're not.
You know, in like 3 weeks, we might be a very unfriendly EA podcast.
We're not like.
What's
let's be
happening
real.
in 3 weeks?
Well, the weekend that we're playing Resident Evil 8 is the release weekend for Mass Effect.
Yeah,
No, fuck
and
me.
I mean, we're already one person down on BioWare, so I just gotta join you in with me, Ryan, and then it's just Lone Eric 11 BioWare.
Yeah. I'll try.
I mean,
Mass
this little
Effect and we'll
scrappy
see if I hate 'em.
podcast, scrappy podcast, even if it didn't become successful, I don't think EA is going to be on the door of, hey, we want to sponsor a video. You guys have
Listen,
spoken
man, I was
so
hoping
kindly
to-
about us.
I was hoping I'd have a line to the college football games, but if you're gonna stamp that out before I can get there, that's fine.
Why? So you can just sit there and open packs to get your favorite player?
Oh God, if they have Ultimate Team, I'm never fucking touching
Of
that
course
shit.
they're going to have Ultimate Team.
Right, I'm saying I'm not fucking dealing with that. It is not for me.
You don't.
I
You mean
wanna
you don't
play
want to have
against-
trading cards? You don't have digital trading cards in a video game?
No shot, dude. No shot.
Oh, I mean,
Because
EA is going to have 1 or 2 games that do that, but the next year will be telling of how much they do actually take a step back. Because they did with
Mhm.
Respawn and Jedi Fallen Order. And they have came out and publicly said, like, we need to let our developers develop the way that they want to.
Yeah. Do you think that it was? Do you think a lot of their change is coming from the failures with Star Wars? Because other than the Respawn game, the last.
No, it's the failure from Anthem.
Oh, you think it's Anthem that
That's-
did it?
Yeah, when BioWare said they were going to stop supporting Anthem, EA came out like the next day and they were like, yeah, we're going to let our developers do our thing.
Okay.
Oh, and we're not going to create another new engine without giving it to them to develop games on.
Yeah. Have you guys seen the new Mortal Kombat movie yet?
No,
No, but
I'm
I have
bad
not
with
heard
movies.
good things.
I watched
Same.
it. I watched it.
Did you like it?
Let me break it down for you.
Okay.
I'll go into a movie that sucks as long as if I laugh a little bit or go out of it somewhat enjoying it, I can deal, right? I think the only movie that I've been really disappointed with in the last 10 years, like truly like disappointed that I watched it, was the second
Alien
Star Wars
Covenant.
movie. I didn't go see that. But I did watch the second Star Wars with you, and I was just super
The
disappointed.
second one.
Oh, we are about to have an argument here. I like this.
Mortal Kombat, okay? Premise. Opening scene, phenomenal. I was like, oh, this movie's gonna be good. Like, this is the tone. It's dark, it's gritty. It's not like kind of campy. This is gonna be cool. And then it moves to this character that I don't care about, that I've never heard of. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe I'm not good with Mortal Kombat. I've never even heard of this character. Spends a ton of...
It's okay if you spoil it for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, who's the character?
So this guy's named Cole, okay? Long story short, the very beginning of the movie, Scorpion or Sub-Zero kills this dude's family. He goes straight to hell and becomes Scorpion. That's the premise, okay? And he leaves behind this like little dagger and a baby. Okay, his wife and other kid are killed and he leaves a baby. Raiden comes in, saves the baby, picks up this little, it's like the garden trowel that his wife was using to like pick the vegetables up. That Scorpion, throws at people and is like, get over here. It's like that thing.
Is it the kunai?
Whatever, I don't
Like
know.
a little kunai knife? Yeah.
So then the movie jumps forward like 300 years or whatever it is from ancient China to modern day. And there's this dude that's just getting pummeled in a UFC fight kind of thing. And then all of a sudden he's got a dragon tattoo and Jack shows up and then Sub-Zero's there to kill him. Like, this is all happening literally in 10 minutes. Like, he's fighting, he loses, Jack shows up, he gets in a fight with Sub-Zero, and then he finds Sonya Blade, and then Jack gets his arms ripped off. It's like boom, 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 boom. Like, it never stops. And it's the most rushed. It's an hour and a half, and they managed to like cram it all in there.
That's the problem. It's an hour and a half.
Hour and a half
Two
is
hours.
terrible.
And spoiler alert, there's no tournament.
No,
that is the one thing I heard that people didn't like.
There's no tournament. Like Shang Tsung or whatever is stupid. The wizard, not wizard, the sorcerer
Shang
dude.
Kao?
Is it Shang Kao? Whatever his name is. I don't know what his name is. Fucking, I haven't played Mortal Kombat in years. He shows up and he's like, the gods won't stop me. I'm just gonna kill all your fighters, Raiden. And so him and Sub-Zero and a couple other people like Melina and I'm picturing him. He's the guy with the hooks and like wears the mask. What's that guy's name? Cabal show up and fight, and then nothing really happens, and then Raiden takes them to like this special place where they can't be hurt, and then they come back and then they win. It's like a whole movie. But it all happens like bam, 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 bam. The only saving grace in it is the actor who played Kano did an amazing job. Like, I was like, Kano's fucking cool. Like, he's a cool character. He even
Interesting.
There's even moments like the very first thing Kano kills, like he kills like this lizard shit, and at the end of it he goes Kano wins. And then like throughout the movie there's like these little moments, right? Where like Liu Kang will say like fatality. Or something like
that's
that.
funny.
Flawless
So
victory.
Rushed sounds really bad, and from what I heard, it was from what I saw from somebody, and I didn't know they're a fighting game fan that I'm loosely friends through on Facebook through the Dragon Ball Z card game from them. Like, I don't even know if I've had an IRL conversation with them, but they posted and they were like, it was stiff, it was bad, fast. I saw fast pace as well, and it's like, I didn't know if he was like a fighting game fanboy being hypercritical, but like I'm hearing it a lot, so probably not.
Well, and the other thing about the movie is like they tried to tie it all in together at the beginning of the plot where Scorpion's family's killed, right? So he's like wants to kill Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
Right? So the whole time you're thinking that this Cole dude is like going to be Scorpion. Like he's going to take on the mantle of Scorpion, right? What ends up happening is Sub-Zero kicks this guy's ass for a couple minutes. He bleeds on Scorpion's blade thing that Raiden gave him, and then Scorpion can come back from hell. And it takes both of them to defeat Sub-Zero. And then that's like the big revelation is that like this guy's like the great grandson of Scorpion, but his name's like Cole. And like his ability is like he wears like this golden suit, and he has like these like blades on his arms. I don't know who he is.
Yeah, that
I'm
sounds
sold.
dumb.
I'm gonna have to watch it now. Like
It like
It's an hour and a half. I mean, you got time.
everybody I know has been polar opposites. There is no middle ground.
they either love it or hate it.
I know 2 people who loved it, and I know the majority of people didn't like it.
I honestly
and to
would
be
rather,
fair, like a lot of movie of the years are like that. Stars.
I'd
So
rather
here's-
go back. I'd rather go back and watch the original Mortal Kombats. I think they're better.
Well, here's the thing: is it worth an hour and a half just to get that experience and be like, it's shitty or not?
I also wonder how much of MK11 you probably need to know about going into the movie.
I mean, I knew every single character except the main one.
Yeah, but the story in MK11 is completely off the wall compared to like what it was when we were 20.
I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, Mortal Kombat in itself is kind of known for being pretty outlandish.
It
Yeah.
is, and I mean, I think certain actors did good. Like
It is
Cavall
really
did
weird
really
that
good.
that Sub-Zero is the bad guy though.
Yeah,
He's
Sub-Zero's
normally
he's
normally
literally
the
the
good
villain.
guy.
He's the villain, and Scorpion is like the good guy. But like, yeah, and like the way they handle Jax, like he's like kind of. They explain it. They kind of. It's kind of weird. They explain your dragon tattoo gives you power, and you have to unlock it from like stress or being beaten up, right? So like Kano unlocks his laser eye from getting insulted by everybody and talking about how worthless he is, and he starts to get all angry, and then all of a sudden he shoots a laser beam out of his eye and he's like, awesome. And then like Jax has to rescue Sonya Blade, so he eventually his arms like go from being these like weak robotic like puny looking like arms to like growing muscles, and then all of a sudden he's strong. It just felt very like we need to cram all of this into an hour and a half. Like I said,
Maybe that's the case.
Kano's great. He
I mean, for
great in the
most
movie.
people, they watch it on HBO Max, a free release in a COVID year.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a movie that also had a character like that, where like there's one character that stands out as a really good actor. Can't think of which one it would be. Oh, it's kind of like, you know, the guy who played who's the villain in Black Panther? Not Killmonger. Who's the white dude that's like the gun runner? What's that guy's
Oh.
name?
It's not Stryker. It is Stryker. Is it Stryker?
No, that's not Stryker. Stryker's Deadpool.
I feel like there's more than one Stryker in the Marvel universe.
Let's see. Arms dealer,
I'm
Black Panther.
not a help here. I have not watched.
Oh, Ulysses Cowell is his name. Remember that guy from the movie?
I mean, he was in it for like 10 minutes.
But do you remember how like you remember him, and he did a good job in that role? That's what I feel like Kano did. Like he
I mean,
plays
if you
that
were
role
to, if
really
you were
well.
to say like Michael B. Jordan stood out in Black Panther, I would agree
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan was great too.
because he was the best actor in that movie.
Yeah, I would agree. He did a
And
great job.
I'm not saying that anybody else did bad. Chadwick did a really good job. Michael B. just did better.
Is that Killmonger?
Killmonger's
Yeah.
Michael B. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think like I said, if you want to just watch a movie, throw Mortal Kombat on. I think it could have been better, but I was kind of worried as soon as I saw that there was not a major studio making it. It's made by a studio I've never heard of. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to remember if I've heard it.
It's I'll tell you. Mortal Kombat film. Let's see here. It is made by Atomic Monster Production.
Nope.
and New Line Cinema. That's the two that made it, but I've never heard of Atomic Monster. Apparently, they have made Annabelle, Conjuring 2, Lights Out, Annabelle Creation, The Nun, Curse of Lenora, and Annabelle again.
Bunch of scary movie type stuffs.
They're also making Aquaman 2.
Sure. Fuck it.
Oh, fucking Warner Brothers.
Dude, DC movies have been trash.
Warner Brothers just doesn't know what they're doing. Like,
Have
I
they
love
made a
Batman.
good movie since Dark Knight?
I love Batman, dude, but I'm so sick and tired of the same story.
Yeah. But I feel
If
like
I
they do that with every superhero movie, where it feels like after like 3 movies, they go back and they redo the fucking origin story, and it's like, fuck, dude, I don't care.
If I have to see Bruce Wayne's parents die one more time, like,
How do you think Bruce feels every fucking day living with the fact that his parents died?
we get it. Like, I guess the new one with Robert Pattinson's supposed to be like his first year, and it's more like detective. Like, he's supposed to be like more of a
I'm
detective.
down for that.
But he's fighting the Riddler in it. And I'm like, I mean, that's cool. I think Riddler's a super underrepresented villain in the DC universe, like in movie wise.
Yeah.
But I'm like, God, if I have to see his freaking parents die, if I have to see Martha's beads fall on the ground one more time.
I mean, you're gonna see it, so you might as well accept it now that like it's the origin story again.
I know, but like, it's kind of like, at least with Spider-Man, they were like, do we need to watch Uncle Ben get killed again? No, let's not do that.
I mean, but how many different Spider-Man trilogies have there been? That's the third one, right?
Yeah.
A lot more Batman.
And to be fair, Tom Holland was coming in. That was after his intro.
Right.
Yeah.
So like they already had the start for that one.
You've proposed to me now, and now I'm interested in your opinion, because you've talked about it and you're a big Batman fan. Do you have a favorite Batman villain?
It would be a toss-up for me between the Riddler and Joker.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Eric, any opinion?
It's the Joker. I mean, in the animated series, Mark Hamill did a phenomenal job. Heath Ledger's Joker stands the test of time. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is also really good. It's just, I mean, like, that's the problem with DC. They need to move on from the Batman origin story.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I like.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I love Scarecrow. I love the
cool character,
psychological. That's why I really liked the first Batman movie in the Dark Knight trilogy, because we actually got the Scarecrow and it wasn't the Joker, and I was like, oh shit, this is really cool.
Like, you know how I have an idea, and this is I'm only a stupid idiot on the internet, so I don't really know what I'm talking about. But I think a way they could do it. Did you watch Split?
No, but I know a lot about it. It's the one where he has like 13 personality type shit and kidnaps the girls.
Yeah, and so it's actually M. Night Shyamalan tying together his Glass, like what's it called? His trilogy, right?
Yeah.
From Mr. Glass, from whatever his first movie was called. I think the way DC would fix their stuff a little bit is, rather than make a Batman movie for the 16th time, make a Scarecrow movie and make it like a kind of, not a horror movie, but kind of in the mindset of Split, where you are kind of living with this character and understanding it, and go the different route of Marvel, where Marvel focused on the heroes, right? DC has better villains. So focus on the villains.
Oh yeah.
And make a bunch of movies about villains, and then eventually make a Batman movie. Or a Superman movie or whatever.
Yeah, off of that. Well, I mean, I can loosely talk about this with Eric and tie it back in. I mean, in my honest opinion, a lot of good storytelling, and like, for me at least, I really enjoy watching like a villain develop in the Dragon Ball Super series. Like, Dragon Ball has had iconic villains, but none of them felt like I didn't give a shit about. I was like, I like the villains, but I'm never like, I don't give a shit. one of the newest villains that they have, Zamasu, is literally a character that you see. He's on the side of good. He's one of the gods, like a god in training. But you see, as he's going in and like observing people, he starts having these things of like, why are we protecting these like inferior beings who are, causing death, mayhem, like destroying worlds and stuff? Like, why do we protect them? And you see a kind of like trigger where he starts flipping and you see him turn bad. I think that's really good. And like, we saw how good that could be, taking that like villain origin story of the Joker with the Joaquin Phoenix one. Like, why can't we do that, like you said, with more of the DC villains, see how they become to be? Like, I know stuff like the Mr. Freeze where he's trying to save his wife, he becomes evil that way. Like, give us some shit like that. And then, like, again, you can have different fucking Batman, your Robert Pattinson, your Ben Affleck, whatever. You want to keep switching those, but then you have a story that you can focus on. It's not Martha and
Martha.
Fucking, what the fuck is Bruce Wayne's dad? Is it Bruce?
Wow.
I'm not a hyper superhero fan. I don't know why it's escaping me right now.
I don't even know if we can be friends right now.
That's fine, dude.
I don't even know if we can be friends. Like, I'm gonna let you think about it.
Wait, do I have to really think?
Yeah, what is it?
Is it not a Todd? Todd sounds wrong.
I mean, to be fair though, like when it comes to marketing, villains don't sell as well as heroes do.
Do you think not?
I really think not, because like,
okay.
So what sells the most merchandise? Kids.
Yep.
True.
Oh, it's obviously the heroes. Yeah, I guess.
How many kids want to be a villain? How many parents want their kids raised to be a villain? It's easier for Marvel to just shit out another Iron Man movie because everybody wants to be Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Maybe I was a weird kid, but like as a kid when I watched Star Wars, I was like, the Empire rules.
I like Darth Vader, but I always was kind of like, I like the usurping of like everything. But like Darth Vader,
these guys got walking robots.
I mean, but that feel good story is what sells. I mean,
yeah.
Look at sports. What's the best story? The Cinderella story.
I think the domination story is pretty good.
Well, you can do that with a villain story. You build them up, but instead of having like a climax of a win, you have a climax of a fall of the villain, because the hero comes in. Everybody knows the hero is coming, but I think I've grown older and I've grown more to like villains over heroes, where I see stuff like, again, as I said, the like turn of
adults.
A villain. Like, I think
adults do generally like villains more, and if kids didn't exist, more villain stories would exist.
Yeah, because
the thing is that like kids, they're what sells merchandise.
Like I said, if you haven't watched Split, I definitely recommend it. I liked the way Split ended a lot, because the villain rises and you're like, this dude's nuts. And then at the end, he kind of gets away. That makes sense, but not really.
So
and it has a satisfying ending.
I think DC rushed their universe.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
They really needed to. I mean, they came in late to the game, and instead of taking a couple years between movies, they were trying to shit them out year after year, and that's because that's what Marvel does. The thing is that Marvel has multiple teams shooting multiple locations for each movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and in the Marvel universe, the big villain Thanos was a 10-year villain.
Yeah, well, and the problem with DC too is I like the dark and gritty, but at the same time, it's not all that DC is. And they're focusing on a very 80s style Batman and everything, where it's dark and gritty, and the Dark Knight Returns kind of aspect where it's
dark and gritty and it's PG-13, and those don't mix.
Yeah, they don't.
They're trying to go back to the well too often.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, like the Dark Knight trilogy is the most successful trilogy.
It is, but like I said, imagine how
in the comic book world, but they can't recreate that magic. They got lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, imagine how, like I said, I think a thriller about a guy who is committing these crimes or stalking people or whatever, and he's leaving little riddles for them to figure out who he is, or a movie about a guy who gives people hallucinogens and then murders them or something, right? Like a scarecrow. And like you just work through these and you make the villains not as cartoony, but you like build them up like, whoa, this is kind of a scary dude. And then at the end, at the precipice, essentially, there's, oh, all these villains have taken over Gotham. We need someone to rise, and the Batman rises at that point and starts to take care of that issue.
Yeah. I'll also say I looked it up.
I
would've
think
never-
they could be one-offs and be fine. DC needs to not try to create a universe. Make your movies one-offs.
Yeah.
They'll be wildly successful that way.
And they all could be one-offs as well. I would agree with that. They could all be like a Mr. Freeze movie. You know?
Yeah.
Just make a movie that is not dependent on Bruce Wayne's parents dying.
I will say I looked it up. Thomas Wayne, I was never going to get that. I don't know why Thomas was just outside my mind right
Come
now.
on, man.
Crazy.
Someone brought up a good point. Have you guys watched Brightburn?
Is that the one with Will
No.
Smith?
What? No, that's Hancock.
No.
Brightburn is about it's like the dark Superman movie.
I'm thinking of Blight.
Yeah, Brightburn is about a kid who lands in Kansas, alien kid, same basic story, but
Shit his pants, unbelievable.
instead of rising to good, he gets an alien transmission that turns him into like a drone essentially, and he just goes on a
Like the
killing spree.
fucking
Yeah, I'm thinking
programming
of
gets triggered.
Bright.
He goes on a kill. This kid goes on a killing spree. Good
DC
movie.
also needs to get away from like the core three heroes.
Yeah, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Like,
there's.
well, I mean, they
10
tried to.
more.
If they
easily.
went, the one I would love is them to actually make a good Green Lantern.
And to be fair, like DC needs to stop trying to make live action movies. Make
They're
them
really
animated.
good at animated. Yeah.
You know
They-
what?
they-
That would
they
be
ki-
so fucking.
They
based
kill the
if they
fucking
just
animated
went-
market.
Yeah,
They're shitting on everybody.
Did you guys watch the what's it called? I just forgot what it's called. The Snyder Cut.
I have
No,
not
it's too
because it's
long.
long.
I
Yeah.
watched it. I sat
Did
through
you
it.
like it?
I will say this. I've watched all of the new DC movies, Justice League, Batman vs Superman, all of them. I think if you've watched all those and then you watch the Snyder Cut, you can see where he was going to cut the movies and it was going to be like a trilogy. And it makes sense because like you get to the point where you're like, oh, Ben Affleck gets denied by Aquaman. They put more. The Snyder Cut does a better job about introducing Cyborg, introducing Flash, why they have purpose. Like, did you watch Justice League? Did you watch Justice League either? So in Justice League,
it was trash when it came out. There was no
Yeah, it
point in
wasn't
trying
good.
to watch it.
so like with Justice League, the Flash, in Snyder Cut, you actually learn to care about the character and understand why he's doing what he's doing and why he's trying to impress his dad and get him out of prison and all this
that's the
other
difference
stuff.
between the two companies.
Like
Is
there was
that
story
every
building.
character in the original Avengers, except Hawkman or Hawkeye, already had their own movie.
Yeah.
Black Widow was in Iron Man. Thor had his own movie. Iron Man had his own movie. Captain America had his own movie.
I know.
Hawkeye didn't need his own movie. So the five
just
major
world
characters were already
building.
there.
Yeah, world building. Well, it's like I said, like I watched Justice League and I was a DC fan. I'm sitting there like, oh, that's Cyborg. But I'm sitting there with my wife and she's like, who the fuck is Cyborg? And I'm like, oh, he's the character that's apparently not going to get any backstory at all, and now he's fighting Superman.
Sure.
Like, or even the villain. Like, there was 5 seconds of like story building for the villain in that movie, and then he's attacking.
Yeah,
places.
and DC is picking like the worst fucking villains too.
Yeah,
Like I don't know why Darkseid was a villain. Was
because
it
he's
even
Thanos.
Darkseid?
Dark Siege.
Yeah.
That's not the villain of Justice League. Darkseid, whatever his name is. He's not the main villain. He's the Thanos. Like the guy that's fighting on Earth is a Steppenwolf, which is trying to impress Darkseid.
Yeah.
You know, at the end, Darkseid's standing there in the portal, looking through, just like Thanos, kind of, you know, like I'm next. I'm coming for you.
Is
You
it?
know what wasn't coming for them? The Oscars.
It's like I said, if you're bored one day, I said when I watched it, I was like, this was a better movie than Justice League.
No,
But it is
I'll never
4.5
be
hours long.
I'll never be bored enough to be like, what do I want to do? I want to watch a 4.5 hour movie to explain the universe that is already ruined.
You don't care about. No, I get that. Like, it's not for everybody, but I was bored one night and watched it.
Right.
It's better. I want another Deadpool movie.
The sad thing is that Henry Cavill's a really good Superman, and he's
great
wasted
Superman.
on it.
Great Superman. And at the end of I didn't realize. I wish this would have been in it. At the end of the Snyder cut, they introduced what's that Martian? What's that guy's name?
Marvin Martin. No, I'm fucking Looney Tunes ass over here. What the
Martian
fuck?
Manhunter. Martian
Yeah,
Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter.
They introduced him, and Deathstroke is supposed to be the villain of the second Justice League movie, and they introduced him at the end of the movie. But you don't see that in Justice League. But they had a Deathstroke.
DC hasn't done Deathstroke right in like 10 years.
Yeah, they had
Since
a
the Teen
Deathstroke.
Titans.
Yeah, I mean, Arrow's Deathstroke was the best one in like the last 10 years.
Oh,
That's a
you
great.
think
Like,
that one? I
why
don't know
hasn't there
which era.
been? DC does it better with like their TV series and their animated series.
I mean, yes, on the animated series.
Yeah.
DC
with
would
Eric,
probably
though.
do better on the TV series is if they would completely move to their own network and get off shit like the CW.
Because I watched WandaVision,
It was fine.
and it's not as good as Arrow.
I mean,
I
Arrow's
also-
7 seasons.
I know, but I also watched the Captain, like the one with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Well, as much of it as it's come out, and it's not better than
done.
it's not better than I thought Gotham. Like
Again,
these-
you're comparing one season to a show that has like what, 6?
yeah.
I mean, like, it's easy to pick the best parts out of Arrow and be like, yeah, that's better in WandaVision. But the worst parts of Arrow are like some of the worst TV out there.
Hmm.
Same thing
Like
with the Flash. We are Team Flash. You're not. It's like, no, without
Team
him,
Flash!
the
That's
show
what-
doesn't fucking exist. Like
That's what Ryan tells
That's
Taylor.
the problem with the CW. Like, it's fine if you're in your teenage years, which is their target audience, but DC needs to not be targeted towards 12 and 13-year-olds or 14, 15-year-olds.
But I agree with Eric, though. It would be really sick if DC stopped going live action, went animated, because, like you said, they kill their animated
Yeah, they could
stuff.
easily corner
Maybe
that
go down
market.
that path and just run it. Yeah. Like, what animated superhero movies are coming out? Like, they could just make some really high fucking quality animated.
They do. I
superhero
mean, they do
movies.
already. That's the thing. They just need to make that their main thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hire some very good voice actors, hire some of the best animators, and then make that your thing.
But, like,
Yeah.
you know, they did the Killing Joke, which obviously is just kind of like a pseudo release of their comic. That was pretty good when I went to go.
No,
You didn't like
they,
that?
The Killing Joke was not nowhere good compared to the comic, was it, Cody?
No, it wasn't. I watched it in
They-
theaters, and I was like,
God, they fucking ruined the first half of that movie.
I took my wife to it and be like, this is like one of the best Batman stories ever, and she was like, that was stupid.
It is like one of the best Batman stories ever, if not
Yeah.
the best. And the first half of that movie should not have been there. Even Mark Hamill said that afterwards.
Yeah, the one thing that DC's never touched to is they've never touched the killing of Jason Todd.
Outside of his own movie, right? Because he had his own movie.
I don't know. I've never seen it in theater. I mean, maybe I've just never seen it, but
It's not released in theaters, but Jason Todd does have his own movie.
yeah, Death in the Family is the comic it's called. I have a copy of it.
Because Mark Hamill plays the Joker in that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another
He's got
great
that
Batman
scene in
story.
that house where he's like, let's get a picture of you and me, and then me and the kid, and then just the kid.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's his name? He plays Dean Winchester. He does the voice acting for Jason Todd.
The only other major point that they keep touching on in Batman movies is they like Bane a lot. Bane's broken Batman's back like twice.
Yeah.
They love to do that scene over and over again. I think
I don't know.
in the Marvel universe that the villains they haven't touched on, I think Spider-Man has great villains.
Yeah.
Like they can make a ton of Spider-Man movies. He has awesome villains.
Yeah, Jensen Ackles. That's who I was thinking of. I had
You know, you've got
Jared Padalecki on my mind, but I knew it wasn't him.
like you've got Doc Ock, Kingpin, Goblin,
Well,
Sandman.
so it really comes down to what they do with the third Spider-Man. Like, if they bring in the other Spider-Man from Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, like those villains will have already been touched at that point because they appeared in those movies. If not, I mean, you still have Vulture's story.
Oh yeah, Vulture. That's another good one. Show me where the villain touched you.
But I mean, to be
They-
fair, like Marvel does a really good job about slow burning their villains.
Oh yeah.
When's the last time from Marvel we've gotten the Brotherhood stuff? Like Deep Brotherhood. I know we've gotten Magneto shit, but like Sabretooth, Toad.
Well, Marvel hasn't made
Pyro.
Marvel hasn't made an X-Men movie yet. They just bought Fox 2 years ago.
Oh, was that Fox?
Yeah, Fox
Yeah.
owned X-Men. And so that's part of the reason that's part of
and
the reason Marvel
Deadpool-
bought them.
Deadpool made that really complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Deadpool
why-
name dropping actors for Professor X in his own movie made that complicated.
And that's why Deadpool's now under Disney, because Disney had to buy Fox, and Fox made Deadpool along with X-Men. Just
Yeah.
like Sony still owns Spider-Man. They only license it out to Marvel. They don't own Spider-Man.
That's so fucky, dude.
Because Marvel was broke in the 80s and sold all their movie rights off.
Yeah.
Well, they sold Spider-Man to Sony so Sony could make all the games.
Yeah. And then
You gotta remember,
like-
all the Spider-Man games have been PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah, and then like I said,
Really?
Fox bought X-Men because X-Men was super hot in the 90s and
Yeah.
made all those X-Men movies. But I mean, that's another X-Men have a lot of good villains.
Yeah, I
But
think
the-
X-Men has some of the best villains. Like I loved, even though they were by Fox, I still loved a lot of them. Between like Sabretooth, I always thought was really cool. I loved, well, because I used to play a bit with Alec back in the day. We played the Versus system, so I learned a lot about the Marvel and DC villains from that game, and stuff like all the Brotherhood was something that I really enjoyed. So like when I was able to see that actually in theaters, I was like, oh shit, like putting names and faces like the Mystiques, your Magnetos, your Sabretooth, Toad, Pyro, like going deep into that Brotherhood stuff, the Blob, like all of that was stuff that I was like, damn, it's really cool to relate to that. So
Yeah, I'm really hoping.
Yeah,
the third
but
Deadpool's will be
Marvel,
good.
I don't think Marvel will drive that.
no.
Fox is gonna have to grow a set of cojones and drive that themselves. Marvel's already got their Phase 4 planned out.
Yeah, like the Eternals. I don't even know who they are.
Well, and like to be fair, you are starting to run out of bigger name actors in Hollywood to play these Marvel characters.
I wasn't even saying that. Like, who's playing it? I don't know who the Eternals are, but I didn't know who Guardians of the Galaxy were either when I went to see that movie, and I love that movie.
no,
So.
I mean that's a twofold problem. Like Marvel's expanding very much into the cosmic universe, whereas X-Men is very grounded. But compounding that problem is the amount of actors you have available.
Oh, also
Recognizable actors, rather. Like
Yeah, because Angelina Jolie I know is in the Eternals.
Josh Brolin is already playing two characters. Like
Yeah, he's played Thanos and Cable. He played Cable way better. I like Cable more as a Cable character though. He did good as Thanos. Don't get me wrong. He made an excellent Thanos. Yeah, another movie you're not thinking about either, Ryan, is Fantastic Four was owned by Fox and it's now back under Marvel.
Right, Fantastic Four was also one that like not a great movie, but I love the idea of the characters and stuff. Doctor Doom, dude, sheesh, Doctor Doom is so fucking sick.
Great villain.
that's another one. Chris Evans
Yeah.
has played in both.
Great
Do
villain.
you bring in and well, hasn't Fantastic Four been remade? Wasn't there?
Yeah, it was terrible. Oh,
I
it was
think
so
so.
bad. It was so bad. I watched it. It was so
was,
bad.
was Michael B. Jordan the Human Torch in that one?
Yeah, actually, I think that.
Because
No,
the world shit itself because there was a black Human Torch,
Yeah, there was, but I don't know if it was Michael B. Jordan. Let me look.
and I'll never understand that part of it.
Because people are racists. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan, Human Torch.
Who was the
So
Human
I mean,
Torch
like
for
for the remake, yeah.
who was the Human Torch for the first one though?
Chris
Wasn't
Captain
Evans.
America?
Chris Evans, yeah. That's what I
Captain
thought.
America.
I mean, to be fair, like if you did a remake of Fantastic Four and Michael B. Jordan played the Human Torch and he was given the correct writing to play the Human Torch, he could totally do a Killmonger reference and everybody would nerdgasm in the theater. Because everybody
Yeah.
loves those type of Easter eggs.
Yeah, like, oh, I get it. I'm really
Symbiote
looking.
Thanos was the best line in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, I really like. I'm really looking forward to the next Guardians movie with Thor in it. I think it's gonna be. A good movie.
I'm losing my mind because I always am thinking about when Thor and stuff comes up. I'm thinking about God of War.
Thor
Oh,
is
my mind
probably
always goes
Thor.
there.
Thor is probably one of my favorite Marvel like main roster. He probably is my favorite main roster superhero.
Mhm. I really love Tony Stark, but again, if we went back to the Fox stuff, man, dude, there's so many good X-Men characters that I just love.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine, perfect like casting there.
Yeah, it was insane.
I think probably the most underrated Marvel actor is Anthony Mackie.
Which one does he play?
He's now not the Falcon.
Oh yeah, he does a great job too.
He's extremely underrated.
Yeah, he's a great job too.
Like watching his career from Papa Doc in 8 Mile to now has just been.
Oh, it is Papa Doc.
It is.
I didn't even think about that. Is Papa Doc. Oh man, what a small world.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
Well,
if we
I
see
think-
B Rabbit in one of his episodes?
Who?
B Rabbit, Eminem.
I have oddly been a little surprised that you don't see more music artists in movies playing small cameos.
Yeah,
But my guess is that the cost doesn't bring in enough benefit.
probably not. They probably want a bunch of money. I mean, I know that certain characters have been hidden in movies. Like Ed Sheeran played a huge role in a couple Game of Thrones episodes,
Yeah.
and then a bunch of them have been Star Wars. Like it's stormtroopers. Like you don't know they're stormtroopers, but they're playing as them.
Yeah.
Eminem, I
Well-
think, would just be too costly.
Yeah. Unless
Who
he's
else
a big
would be,
superhero.
though?
He's a big superhero fan though. There might be like a character he really likes.
Would you get any stuff like I don't know, man, like your Drakes, any like higher end echelon people? Or are you thinking kind of like old school?
I mean, I said Eminem. I already included.
Yeah, you included one of the most higher echelon people out there. I'm just more so saying like I don't know
I
where
could
else you would
see.
go.
I could see maybe like Drake specifically, because Drake's been
Yeah.
in a lot of commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eminem's a recluse. He didn't come out.
Yeah.
Right, you guys want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think we've had a good discussion. We actually bumped off one of our other topics. We had a good topic discussion about movies. I want to thank Hercules in chat for helping us get on that line. That was a lot of fun to
Freaking
actually
Herc.
delve into some of that. Herc. But yeah, with that, I want to thank everybody who did stop by. Anybody who watches the post upload. It was a fun time talking with our buddies. Shorter episode this week. Long, tired. We're all getting.
Can I get a
through
high
it,
five
but,
yet?
Wait a second.
Yeah, we did it.
There we go.
I tried to do it with Eric. He just looked at me like I was an idiot.
I was really
That's so
hoping you were gonna
cringe.
say no, point it back to your
Yeah,
wall
it was
and
so
be
cringe
like,
that Eric wouldn't give you a high five.
you're not
when
worth the
this
high
man,
five.
this man would leave
Just
me
sit here
hanging
like
though.
this.
Yeah, this man wouldn't leave me hanging. I know he fucking wouldn't.
No, you're
Never
right,
in
it
his
would.
life is he leaving
We're
me
not
hanging.
ending. We're not a day.
I mean, you don't have to end. I'll just turn my camera off and move on.
Alrighty.
Alright.
With that, though, that is our Gamer Side Quest podcast of the week. I want to thank everybody for joining up and hope you all have a safe, wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you do partake in listening to this. Thanks again, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Later.
Peace.
Peace.